Alright, so we've got some more news regarding the potential extension for the Long Island Railroad route in Train Sim World 4. I know I've discussed this a lot already. I think I've made two videos, one exploring it as a potential base route for Train Sim World 4 and another one on the previous leak. I've seen a lot more discussion as sort of the leaks have been made more widespread. It would appear that these leaks were not intentional, as some of them have. Some people speculate that they are. There's reasonable evidence for that. But this most recent leak came, which I might as well show you. It was this that was found on, I believe, Train Simulator Drivers, which is an ambassador of Dovetail. A video or a live stream or something. I didn't see it myself. Very clear there, spells it out, right? Can't argue with that. I know there's going to be some keyboard warriors, oh, it's not on the roadmap. And there are some reasons for that. I've seen people suggest that perhaps the MTA revoked the license at the last minute, and so this route has been sitting, waiting to release for a while. But I don't know, and I'm not going to speculate too heavily on that. What we can see there, LIRR commuter, New York to Long Beach, Hempstead, and what we presume is Hicksville, which, spells a lot there. There's still a lot up for interpretation, but you can also see very clearly an LIRR M7 and M9 in the background, so they've got new rolling stock with this. So have a look. This is the LIRR route map. So we've got, I highlighted in yellow what we already have. So from Penn, Long Island City and Atlantic Terminal through Jamaica out to Belmont Park, Hempstead and Hicksville. And I reckon this new route will have Grand Central, the new branch into Grand Central Madison that opened relatively recently, and obviously the Long Beach branch, which apparently runs via Locust Manor off a very rudimentary search. So there's a fair bit more stuff there, and how many new stations? 10, 11 new stations. I don't live in New York. I can't really comment on whether this is a good choice. Seems reasonable to get more of the LIRR, and as well, the current route feels very sort of dead around Jamaica. It's such a busy junction, and there's very little happening there in the current route. So perhaps if we had more stuff, obviously more AI, as we find in modern routes, but being able to drive services that use a slightly different track layout and different junctions and seeing other trains run over there, I think would add a lot to the experience. So we've got that to look forward to. Obviously, we've got to see if Dovetail do it well. If this is even a Dovetail route, who knows? It most likely is, though. So what we know, it will have routes from at least Atlantic Terminal, Long Island City, and Penn Station, because we already had them, to Hicksville, Hempstead, and Long Beach, obviously, and the M9 and M7. I haven't really implied too much here. This is just the very basic, what we can tell from that image. What we can imply, so this is stuff that isn't necessarily guaranteed, but I think there's a very high chance that it will be. That will be the Belmont branch, which is just a little very underused one station spur off to, I think, a race course or something, like a horse race course. There's only 2 services in the current LIRR timetable that take you in there. It's a very basic station. I'm also going to sort of assume that the M3 rail car is included, because you think like Southeastern High Speed, originally that came with the 395 and the 375. They released the 465 as DLC, and then when they re-released it as the extended route, the 465 was bundled in there. So I would assume that gets bundled in, and I've also sort of guessed that implied that the Long Beach branch is via Locust Manor, because that appears to be where the actual Long Beach trains travel via. Now we've got some guesses. These are things that I don't know, but I would assume this is going to happen. Madison, it would be, a bit silly not to, considering it's this flagship news station in not only New York but sort of the whole of America. How many new railway termini on this scale have been constructed? And it would be pretty cool to have this line, because even though it's a brand new railway, it uses a lot of really old infrastructure, like old, never used subway tunnels under the East River and stuff like that. So it's a very long branch, but it's all in tunnels, right? Once you leave Sunnyside Yard, all in tunnels. So they wouldn't really need to model anything other than the one station included, which is Madison. And that might be a bit of a task, because, you wouldn't know from this image, but there are 8 platforms. So there's 2 islands stacked on top of each other, and then another pair of stacked islands in another cavern adjacent. So there's 8 platforms. So it's a relatively large terminus. And we can see 2 M9s there, but they do have M7s running in. No M3s though, I wouldn't have thought. And that's more or less it. I think it's probably going to turn out to be a good thing. If Southeastern High Speed is anything to go off, hopefully this will turn out to be reasonable. I'd much rather play the upgraded Southeastern High Speed than the original. Not that I can play the original, but the original was pretty basic and sort of on par with the current LIRR, and having the updates and a new timetable, and the potential for the timetable massive with all this AI traffic. We've got new rolling stock, new parts of the route, and a lot more new stuff than Southeastern High Speed in terms of playability. I think it has great potential. We've obviously got to see what the finished product is, if we see the finished product. And if there's any big news, I will keep you updated. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. If you're waiting for Sydney content, hopefully I'm going to be able to release a Sydney video this long weekend, probably Sunday or Monday. I have to sort of backpedal and choose a new video idea, and I'll postpone the one that I was going to make because the government was very unhelpful in my freedom of information. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you all later. Goodbye.